The moment Adrian Vale stepped silently through the side entrance of his own mansion, his heart slammed violently against his ribs, not from fear, but from something far more unsettling. Laughter echoed through the marble hallway. Not the polite, controlled laughter his daughters usually offered at formal dinners. This was different, raw, free, alive, and it wasn't coming from where it was supposed to. It was coming from the servants' quarters. He froze. For a man who owned half the skyline, who controlled million-dollar deals with a single phone call, there was something deeply disturbing about realizing that the only real laughter in his house existed in a place he had never cared to look. He had faked the trip. A last-minute, urgent business flight to Zurich, that's what he told everyone, including his daughters. The private jet had taken off, without him. Adrian had stayed behind, slipping back into his own home through the service entrance like a stranger. Why? Even he wasn't entirely sure anymore. Maybe it was the unease that had been growing inside him for months. Maybe it was the quiet distance in his daughter's eyes. Or maybe, deep down, he feared something he couldn't yet name. And now, standing in the dim corridor, listening to that laughter, he felt it. Something was wrong. Or perhaps, something was finally right. He stepped closer, his polished shoes silent against the cold floor. The door to the small staff lounge was slightly open. Warm light spilled out, carrying with it the soft scent of soup, fresh bread, and something else. Comfort, something he hadn't felt in years. Adrian slowly leaned toward the door and looked inside. And what he saw made his breath stop. His daughters, Emma and Lily, were sitting on the floor. On the floor, their expensive dresses slightly wrinkled, their hair loose, faces glowing with joy. Emma, the older one, was laughing so hard she had tears in her eyes. Lily clutched her stomach, giggling uncontrollably. And in front of them, sitting cross-legged with a simple bowl in her hands, was Rosa, the maid. Rosa, who usually moved through the house like a shadow. Quiet, invisible, careful not to disturb anything. But right now, she was the center of their world. She was telling a story. Her hands moved as she spoke, her voice animated, her eyes shining with life Adrian had never noticed before. The girls leaned toward her, completely absorbed, as if nothing else existed. Adrian felt something twist painfully inside his chest. Have you ever seen something so simple, yet so powerful that it makes you question everything you thought you knew? Because in that moment, Adrian realized he was watching something he had never been able to give his own children. Joy, real joy. His grip tightened on the doorframe as Rosa gently blew on a spoonful of soup and held it out toward Lily. Careful, it's still hot, she said softly. Lily smiled, a genuine, warm smile Adrian hadn't seen in months, and leaned forward, taking the spoon. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. Adrian blinked. When was the last time his daughters had said that to him? The realization hit him like a quiet storm. He remembered their dinners, long, silent, formal. Expensive meals prepared by top chefs, barely touched. Conversations reduced to polite exchanges. How was school? Fine. Good. No laughter. No stories. No warmth. And yet here they were, sitting on the floor, eating simple soup, listening to a maid as if she were the most important person in the world. Why? What was he missing? Adrian's chest tightened as he watched Rosa gently wipe a drop of soup from Lily's chin, her touch careful, almost maternal. Something about that gesture sent a chill through him. Because it felt familiar. Too familiar. He pushed the thought away. Immediately, his jaw tightening. No, that was impossible. But still, he couldn't look away. Emma leaned forward, her voice soft but excited. Rosa, tell us the story again, the one about the girl who lost everything but still kept smiling. Rosa hesitated for a moment, her eyes flickering with something unreadable. Pain, memory. Then she smiled. Are you sure? She asked gently. Yes, both girls said at once. Adrian felt his heartbeat slow, then quicken again. A story about a girl who lost everything. Why did that feel like more than just a story? Rosa took a deep breath and began. There was once a little girl, she said quietly, who had a beautiful life. A big house, loving parents, everything she could ever need. But one day, everything changed. Adrian's fingers tightened unconsciously. Rosa's voice softened. She lost her home. She lost her family. And suddenly, she had nothing. The room fell silent. Even the air seemed to pause. But, Rosa continued, her gaze drifting slightly, as if looking into the past, she made herself a promise. No matter how hard life became, she would never let her heart turn cold. Adrian felt something shift inside him. Why did this story feel so real? Emma's voice broke the silence. What happened to her? Rosa smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. She learned to survive. She worked hard. She helped others. And one day, she found something more valuable than everything she lost. What? Lily whispered. Rosa looked at the girls, then gently placed her hand over her heart. Love. The word lingered in the air like a fragile thread. Adrian swallowed hard. Love. Such a simple word. So why did it feel like something he had completely failed to understand? He shifted slightly, and the floor creaked beneath his weight. The sound was small, but in that quiet moment, it was enough. Rosa's head snapped toward the door. Their eyes met. Time stopped. For a brief, breathless second, Adrian saw something flash across her face. Shock, fear, and then, something deeper. Recognition. His heart skipped. Recognition. How could that be possible? Rosa quickly stood up, her movements suddenly tense. Sir, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Emma and Lily turned, their laughter fading instantly. Dad, Emma said, confusion spreading across her face. Adrian stepped into the room slowly, his presence suddenly heavy, overwhelming the small, warm space. The atmosphere changed instantly. The laughter vanished. The warmth, gone. Only silence remained, and in that silence, Adrian felt it clearly for the first time. Distance. A cold, invisible wall between him and his daughters. Why did it feel like he was the outsider in his own home? He cleared his throat, trying to regain control. What is going on here? He asked, his voice calm but sharp. The girls exchanged a glance. Lily looked down. Emma hesitated. Rosa spoke first. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. Didn't mean to what? Adrian interrupted. His tone wasn't loud, but it carried authority. Rosa lowered her gaze. I was just keeping them company. Adrian's eyes flicked to his daughters. On the floor, he asked. No one answered. The silence grew heavier. Have you ever walked into a moment and realized you don't belong there, even though it's supposed to be yours? Adrian felt that now, and it unsettled him more than any business failure ever could. Emma finally spoke, her voice quiet but steady. We wanted to be here. Adrian frowned. With her? He asked. Emma nodded. Yes. The simple answer hit harder than he expected. Why? Why her? Why not him? A strange, uncomfortable feeling crept into his chest. Jealousy. He turned to Rosa again, studying her more closely now. For years, she had been nothing more than part of the background. Efficient, quiet, reliable. But now he noticed things. The way she stood, strong, yet cautious. The way her eyes held depth, stories. The way his daughters looked at her, not like an employee, but like family. The thought sent a sharp pulse through him. No, that wasn't possible. And yet, he took a step closer. Rosa, he said slowly, how long have you been working here? She hesitated. 3 years, sir. 3 years. Adrian tried to remember. He had hired dozens of staff over time. Faces blurred together. Names forgotten. But now, something felt different. Something was beginning to surface. A memory, a feeling, a question, and it terrified him, because for the first time in a long time, Adrian Vale wasn't in control. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice whispered, what if the truth you're about to uncover changes everything? The room remained silent, heavy with unspoken tension, as Adrian stood there, watching, questioning, feeling something he couldn't yet understand. And for the first time in his life, he was afraid of what he might find next. Adrian stood there, the silence pressing against his chest like an invisible weight, as if the walls themselves were waiting for something to break. His daughters avoided his eyes. Rosa stood still, her hands clasped tightly in front of her, as though bracing for something inevitable. And yet, it wasn't anger that filled the room. It was something far more dangerous. Truth. Adrian took another step forward, his voice lower now, stripped of its usual sharpness. What story were you telling them? He asked. Rosa hesitated. The girls looked at her, almost protectively. Emma spoke softly, it's just